since Randy Moss with the 2007 Patriots. So it is just remarkable, Chris, how quickly things can change. At this time yesterday, the Bears were in fire everybody mode, and does Justin Fields have a future there? It just feels so different. What do we say about Justin Fields right now?
Sell high. Go ahead and move off of Justin Fields right now. His value is not going to get higher than what it is. You're talking about a player that has a 25-game sample size, and they've won 6 games. Not to say that Justin Fields can't be a good quarterback, not to say that Justin Fields can't play winning football. What I'm saying is, based on where the Chicago Bears are in their program development, it makes more sense for them to move away from Justin Fields now, rather than allowing him to play out the string the rest of the season and potentially devaluing what he could be in a potential trade to another team. So I think the Chicago Bears are best served moving away from Justin Fields now, as opposed to waiting until the offseason. This is a team that's going to be drafting at the top of the draft, whether they had their own pick or whether it's with the Carolina Panthers pick. There's no world in which Justin Fields could do enough to justify the opportunity cost for the Chicago Bears in passing on not only one crop of quarterbacks in 2023, but a second crop of quarterbacks in 2024, a draft class of quarterbacks that is viewed by a lot to be the best in decades. So to me, this is a simple decision for the Bears brass. I don't know if it should be Ryan Poles, the GM, and Matt Eberflus, the head coach, making that decision, but I think they need to move on from Justin Fields sooner rather than later.
I wasn't planning on continuing this conversation, but you know, the best laid plans sometimes go like this when Chris Canty comes in and drops that bomb. Yeah. I turn to my GM. What do you think?
I'm going to push back, and I was the one that said, hey, draft Bryce Young back in the spring. But last couple of games, he's played very well. The quarterback is a developmental position. He's been through a lot of different offenses, and only Darnell Wright's been on the offensive line the whole season. So to me, the grade is still incomplete, Chris. I want to see more. And by the way, Greeny, knowing that you have probably 2 top 5 picks, Marvin Harrison Jr. will make any quarterback look a lot better.
But basically, what I think I hear Chris saying is, if Caleb Williams is sitting there, there's almost nothing Justin Fields could do between now and the end of the season that you're not going to take him, right?
But I keep playing him because then at the end of the year, maybe it's Arizona, maybe it's the New York Jets. Somebody else may want to be interested in Justin Fields, but I'll make the Caleb Williams decision in December.
Why are you shaking your head?
Because I'm selling high. I agree with Chris. I'm selling high on him, and I'm getting him. You know, I'm making sure I have draft capital to be able, because you can still get Marvin Harrison. Because if he continues plays like this, you can be able to get a first or maybe 2 twos or something like that. The problem is by the time his contract is up, in the time that Chicago's ready to win, you won't be able to make that decision. We don't know what he is. Are you ready to give him $50, $60 million a year? Right? So to be able to reset the clock. And we watched this with the Jets, right? The Jets, believed that maybe Sam Darnold was a victim of his environment, and they decided to go draft the number 2 overall pick with Zach Wilson. That hasn't worked out, but it wasn't a Caleb Williams sitting there. Caleb Williams is a show-enough generational player, allegedly.
Danny, jump in.
I just think it's funny. The players are talking about opportunity cost and sell high, and the GM is like, no, you got to. I find that very interesting. Look, I think Canty's idea is a fascinating one, right? Because the whole point is not give up on the guy. The point is it's year 3, right? You're already at the point where you're looking at having to pay him, versus maybe getting to restart the clock with a quarterback who might be better, right? And Caleb Williams. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting way. I don't think that's the way the Bears are going to go.
Sure.
But I think it's because you get to the end of the season and everybody knows where you're picking and what you're going to do, the trade value would be much lower. So
unless you have a market. Look, I'd love to see Justin Fields on Atlanta right now. I'd love to see him and Bijan Robinson in the same backfield. Yeah. We'll see. Coming off a win, we're trading everybody. Yesterday we were firing everybody. All right, on to the next order of business. As far as their other team is concerned, they're looking for revenge in Denver. I remind everyone, Sean Payton, right as he became the head coach in Denver, said to USA Today of Nathaniel Hackett, who is now the Jets offensive coordinator, it might have been one of the worst coaching jobs in the history of the NFL. That's how bad it was. Everything I heard about it last season, we're doing the opposite. In advance of the grudge match, Hackett was asked about it yesterday.
Did you ever talk to him? Like at the time he said he never.
Nope.
Did he reach out, or you didn't accept the call, or?
Nope.
Nothing.
Let's put it this way, everyone. This game is about those guys out on that field. This game is not about me. It's about me helping them during the week. But I just want the guys to go out there and play a great game. That's all we're looking for.
So, what do we read? Graziano's a press conference veteran. What did you read into all that?
Obviously, he's annoyed and upset and angry and insulted by who would not be, right? I mean, like that's fair. The thing I wonder about, like you talk about revenge games, like he's not playing linebacker, right? Like if you're Nathaniel Hackett, you can't call an angry game, right? So like, how does that manifest itself? Are there players on the Jets who will fight for him and be like extra motivated to beat the Broncos because of what Sean Payton said? I don't know. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is his close friend, and they go way back, and he's not going to be in the game, as you know. But I do think there's something underlying this, and if the Jets are able to win and beat the Broncos, I think it'll be very, very, very satisfying for Nathaniel Hackett.
If only I had a perpetually angry linebacker sitting in the room here.
Where might we find one?
Here we go. What do you think?
Listen, I hope the Broncos know what they're getting themselves into. Like, because sometimes you play a game, you don't know that it's beef, right? And you don't know why it's chippy early. Listen, when Aaron said, keep my coach's name out of your mouth, the bat signal was sent. This game was circled. So they can say, Nathaniel Hackett can say what he wants. And you know how it used to be with Rex, right? Whoever had beef with the opponent that we're going in, whether you was cut by that team, fired by that team before it became that bowl. This is the Hackett Bowl. I'm telling you, and you're telling them, and you're going to find out what team really cares about their coach. Because it's going to be a different level on how they play, right? And I'm telling you, we would say, hold them early in the game, hold them up. And when you say hold them up, that means don't let them fall, because we all giving a Sammy Sosa swing. We're going to make this personal, and there's going to be some guys that's not going to be playing the next week. And people think I'm playing if they want to, but this is going to be personal. I hope Bronco, because I don't want them to be tricked with trickeration. Like, I want them to know that they're in the fight, because I want them to protect themselves at all times. Because if I'm that defense, I'm saying everybody's going to sleep.
Well, I guess I want to make it clear what you're saying. Sean Payton wrote a check. It's the players on the field that are going to have to cash it, right? He's not getting hit. They don't have the opportunity to run over and hit the coach. And it's the players.
And if I'm Robert Saleh, I'm letting Nathaniel Hackett be the coach for the day, because I want him to go out and make that handshake. And I want him to be able to look at – the players just want him to be able to look Payton in the eyes and just shake and nod. I know it wasn't personal. I know that you know, because at the end of the day, if he's 1-5 afterwards, if I did the worst job in the NFL last year, what are you doing this year?
Yeah, did everything opposite except win.
Yeah. Now, I would say this, Greeny. Look, I think Nathaniel Hackett's really important, but for completely different reasons. The Nathaniel Hackett against the New England Patriots, they're going to get crushed by the Broncos. The Nathaniel Hackett that just played the Kansas City Chiefs, they could go in and win. They have to play to his strengths. They did a great job of that.
By him, you mean the quarterback, Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson, exactly. And he played exceptionally well, like we're looking at here. 2 touchdowns. He was only sacked twice. And when you make it quick and easy and play to his strengths, they have a very good chance to win this game. And I understand Bart and the motivation. That's all there. But if you ask him to do things that Aaron Rodgers did, like they did against the Patriots, they'll have no shot.
It's about this defense. It's about this defense.
The Jets' defense.
It's about this defense.
But their defense has been okay, not great.
No. They need to set the table. Right? Remember, they went into Mile High last year, so this team has experience with the altitude, with the different time change. So they feel comfortable there. You know, Breece Hall's returning to the scene of the crime, but remember, Breece Hall had a hell of a run there. So I think leaning on the run and being able to move the ball, I don't know what happened to this Broncos defense. I don't recognize it. You think they have the same players, but the coordination and skills, they haven't figured it out. And I don't know if they figured it out this week, but in the meantime, this Jets defense should be suffocating.
I think it's an opportunity for the Jets and Zach Wilson to do something that, I mean, Zach Wilson, I don't think he's ever had like 2 really good games in a row. And I don't mean that in like an insulting or, like, I think he needs to string something together that he hasn't.
There's really no other way to mean it. I mean, I'm not sure how else.
No, but I mean, you know what I'm saying?
You mean that complimentarily? Or?
Objectively, right? We have not seen him play well for sustained stretches. And so here's an opportunity against a defense that has been very, very bad. But it's also an opportunity for the Jets defense, which I mean, I think has been good, but hasn't been like sort of the otherworldly dominant force that we were led to believe they would be this year. And, you know, if you go, the Broncos are not a good team. Like, the Jets so far this year have not been a good team. If you go in there and beat them up and win the game, then you start to get something.
Cindy, put the pics on the screen. Let's see what we think. Bartholomew and I are riding in green. We got enemies here. We got
Judas.
We got enemies up here.
We got, to quote the great Mike Greenberg,
horses.
let me give you some sneaky big news.
Yes.
The Broncos cut Randy Gregory. We saw what happened last night without Chase Claypool and what that did to the Bears. I'd be curious to see if the Broncos play better on defense.
Because that's right. Because he had a big contract, and like if that guy can get cut, then so can I. Yeah, maybe.
I mean, some of those players might want to get cut, but I tell you, Russell Wilson has a lot of pressure this week with all the
I'm
words.
up against a break. We're up against the bottom of the hour. We have much more to do as we continue here on this full-scale Football Friday.